We picked this theme on purpose because it is. It's the last quarterly of the year, and our objective is to help you make sure that you've got a plan together for 2014. I've talked to some people this morning that say their 2014 is already starting to look like it's going to rock the world. So we're looking for 2014 to be a pretty exciting time. Okay? So we're moving into kind of the first session, if you will. And it was entitled, Why is Failure Good for Success? So I ask you, why is failure good for success? It's a learning experience. What else?
Allows for course correction.
Allows for course correction. Other thoughts?
Strengthens your sense of humor.
Either that or totally makes it go away, right? What else?
Builds resiliency.
Builds resiliency. Anybody else have any feedback?
Character.
Character. All right. To achieve great success, you have to embrace the prospect of failure. And I'll talk about this later, but it's so many times folks get so stuck on whatever you want to call it, the mistake, the failure, I didn't achieve that particular goal. And we've seen a lot of quotes. I mean, everybody has seen at least one of the Thomas Edison quotes. You know, I didn't fail, it just took me 1,000 steps to make the light bulb. More recent example, if you will, everybody's familiar with Sir James Dyson and the Dyson vacuum. If you go into some of his story, he'll say, I made 5,127 prototypes. There are 5,126 failures or mistakes. But he learned from each one of them, figured out what the next step was, and came out with a solution. And it's that attitude that I think makes such a difference. He even goes on to say that he believes that in the education system, and obviously he's not originally from the States, that the child who tries the most as far as trying strange things, experiences lots of failure, is probably the one that's going to be the most creative and the most innovative, because they get that. Many of us try to avoid the prospect of failing. You know, we have that perfectionist mentality. We're so focused on not failing that we don't focus on success. We want to make sure we don't make a mistake, as opposed to looking at maybe some of the calculated risks that need to go into success. And typically what that ends up in is probably a business or a life of mediocrity, right? So much of our society is driven on that failure is not an option. And there's a lot that's focused on, it's actually, if you fail, it's deemed as a deficiency. And the suggestion is actually the opposite, or the outcome. And if you think about it, it doesn't start out that way. Somewhere along the line, this process gets shifted. All of you have either had children, grandchildren, nieces or nephews, and as they're embracing how to walk, how to use adult utensils, how to ride a bike, how to read, they fail all the time. As a toddler is starting to walk, they fail and they fall how many hundreds of times. And you don't admonish them, you don't yell at them, you may double check to make sure they were safe and they didn't hit their head on the fireplace, right? But you actually think it's cute. Oh, isn't that nice? And they fall and you pick them back up and they try again.